In this video, I'm going to share 3 lessons that I learned from being in college, and I'm going to be sharing them so that you can learn them as well. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a video. Maybe I'm just going to be sharing my personal experiences and some thoughts on some things, and hopefully that they can be valuable for you. If you're going into college, then they're going to be valuable for you for sure. So just make sure you listen, and it'll be cool. The first lesson I learned was that there's a huge importance in being in a Christian community and being in the right Christian community. So starting out my freshman year, I was in Cru, and it was like the first, second, and third years that I was in there, and then I realized that like Cru is more like surface level for Christians, and I already had like a surface level kind of understanding of Jesus by God's grace. I grew up like I got plugged into a church, and so I was plugged in already at a church, and so I kind of like already understood a lot about God. And so when it came to Cru, I already kind of understood those fundamental pieces. I still grew because of that, but like the culture of it is more like the culture that I experienced was more like baseline understanding, and not like it wasn't like the growth that I wanted personally to receive. So it was good, but like it wasn't what I wanted for the first 3 years. And so so then I joined Chi Alpha, which is another campus ministry, and in there I grew a ton. My senior year, I was in there my whole senior year, and I grew a ton in my faith, ton as a person. I'm really grateful for the experience that I had in that group, and I just grew a ton in my faith from that. So like the wisdom that I give you is to understand like you got to be in a community. Well, if you want to grow in your faith, I try not to say words like you don't need to do anything. Like you can do what you want. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do or tell you you need to do this. Like you got your own freedom to make your own decisions. I'm just gonna give you the advice and the wisdom that I've learned. It's up to you to decide to do that. So the wisdom that I would give you would be to like be in a community, because you're going to be a lot better off in a community than by yourself. And in America, if you're watching this in America, there's a lie that's kind of a part of our culture that like we can be ourselves, we can do our individual things, and we kind of live in an individualistic culture if you're watching this from America. Maybe in other places in the world as well, but like the truth is that like we need other people, and God has just a natural blessing that I've seen and experienced in community that He doesn't have on when we're trying to pursue Him by ourselves. Like, there's so many times that I've been like had like moments or days and like weeks where I've been in community, and then like I literally have blessings that just come to me that aren't even directly like if I meet with somebody, and then me and him meet, and he says like these things, and he says like, okay, like these are the things that you should think about and learn, and then like during that day, like, and then during that day there will be things that just come to me, and I just understand those things without that person directly saying those things to me, because God just has a natural blessing on the community. And so if you want to have the natural blessing from God, then like be involved with other people, make yourself available to other people, and like be ready to be plugged in. Like if you like instead of like watching TV or playing video games or something, like go to that event or meet with that person one-on-one, or go to like the Bible study or whatever, and make yourself available as a person, and be hungry to learn and be humble, because there will be a better payoff for that than you just just spending time in your dorm by yourself. And if you like sacrifice like video games, like sacrifice some TV to be with people and to be filled up by people that are thriving in a relationship with God, so that you can learn from them. And so basically that's the advice that I would give on community. And that's like if I would do anything, I try not to live in the past, but I'm only saying this for your benefit. If I could do anything my freshman year, it would be get plugged in to a strong Christian community right away, and one that thrives, one that I know is going to help me grow the most, and be doing it my freshman year. So if you're a freshman or whatever grade you're in, then like I would advise you, like if you do anything, if I was to do anything, if I was in your shoes, I would get plugged into a strong Christian community, and that's going to help other pieces in your college journey fall into place as well. Hit the like button if that tip helped you out. Tip 2 is to put in the work. Like I know you've heard this a lot, but I want to share a experience that I had with you when I did not put in the work and I almost failed. So basically, like Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as for working for the Lord, not for men. So whatever you do in that phrase is included, like college is included in that. And so like that's something that you're going to be doing. Like whatever class you do, like work at it with all your heart as for working for God, not for people. And so when you're working for God, it's like you want to make sure you're up to par. You want to make sure you're ready. You want to make sure that you are doing the things necessary to succeed. And so, with that being said, in Genesis, when God created the world, He said, He created humans and He said, it is good. And before they started working, before He gave them directions, He said, it is good. So I want to let you know that, like, you are good. Like, God looks at you and He says, you are good. Like, He is good. She is good. You are good. And so, it doesn't matter what output you create. It doesn't matter what, like, it doesn't matter what result you have with your work. It doesn't matter how much work you put in. Like God already looks at you and He says that you're good. So your worth is not in your work, and your purpose is not in your performance. And so understanding that is like so essential. Like you're innately good. You innately have worth that God has given you when He created you. And that's regardless of how good you are at a class or what grade you get on a test. Like you're innately good. So I want to like really let you know that for real. And so like understand that, and also understand that so understand that, and then understand that God, when He made something, He said that was good. Like when He created something, at the end of the day, I believe it was at the end of the day, but I know that there was moments when He created something, when He created us, and when He created other things, He was like, that's good, that's good, that's good. So that's what you want to do. Like you want to be able to study, you want to be able to work hard, you want to be able to do the things with your hands. Like there's a lot of references in the Bible, hands and everything, and work. Like you want to put your hands to work and then look at it and say, that was good. Like you want to be able to get to a place where you can say like that is good. And that's like to be like God, to be like Jesus is to work. To be like God is to follow in his example of doing the work. And so that's really what we got to do if we want to be like Him. So put in the work. And now I'm going to share the story about how I almost failed a class. So like yeah, I was taking accounting, and another thing I want to let you know is a segue into the next point. But like there are classes that are hard, and there's going to be classes that are like just easier than others, and like don't let that discourage you. So basically, like what I'm saying is that hold on, I'm gonna check my notes here. Basically, like oh yeah, so I almost failed the class because like I'm just not good at accounting, and so it was just a really really hard class, and I'm just not good at numbers. I'm not good at that's not my gift, and so I'm not good at that stuff. So I almost failed, but I also almost failed because I didn't put in work. Like there was a paper that was due, but I was like hanging out with somebody, so I forgot to turn that in, and then that was like 5% of the grade or something. And so I really messed up with that, and I didn't put in the work as much as I should have, and so because of that I almost failed the class. So after that, really I just learned like that I had to go harder. Like I had to like really be intentional and put in work and sacrifice sometimes hanging out with other people to study. And so it was like I was kind of doing that my sophomore year, and I had the accounting class my junior year. And there's this concept of like when something's too hard, you don't do it, and when something's too easy, you don't do it. But when it's right in the middle, when it's like medium, where it's a challenge, then like you put in the work because like that's exciting and that is something where you feel like you can work on it, where it's like not too easy, where you don't do anything, it's not too hard, where you feel overwhelmed. And I felt overwhelmed with accounting because it was just super super hard. Like literally I was not good at it at all, and it took me so much work to do like something that usually would come at a medium rate or an easy rate for me or for other people as well. Like there's some people that just got A's in the class. I'm like, how? I have no idea how you get an A in this class. Like, just like, but the reason is because God has given them that ability and created them with that ability, but He didn't give me that ability. And so like I know who I am. I know that like I'm good at working with people. I'm good at being compassionate. I'm good at psychology. I'm good at counseling, and I'm gonna be training to be a counselor. And so like that's where I know my gift is. It's not in numbers, it's not in accounting, it's not in statistics, it's not in those things. And so you have a gift that God has given you, and understand that like He has a gift for you regardless of like what the grades show. And He has a gift for you regardless of what your professors think. Some of them might see that in you, some of them won't. Some people, like sometimes people don't see anything in you, but like God sees something in you, and He's given you a gift, and He's given you an ability to work in a certain lane and do a certain job and to work at something with all your heart, and to like have that be your focus of your life. Not your life, but like the focus of your work that you do, which is a very large part of our lives. And so um like he wants you to get to a he wants you to get to a place where you can say this is good. He wants you to get to that place where you're working and you have a job and you're like, I like this job. Like God does not want us to hate our jobs. Like I believe that God, like He does not, no, that's like a sin to me. I think that's a sin because it's going against the creator. It's going against the model of God to look at our work and say we hate our work because He said it was good. So we should strive to get to a place in our life where we can work a job and we can be like, I like my job. I like going to work. I like what I do because God liked what He did when He worked. And so we should be in that same mindset as well. And you have a gift and you have a place where God has given you that ability. And He's faithful, I believe, to create lanes for people, lanes for Christians in the world to be able to do a job that they love. So another thing that I learned was that God's love truly satisfies. This is the third point, truly satisfies. And so God's love truly satisfies. And basically this means that like alcohol, status, followers on social media, other things that like are really vain pursuits and vain pursuits in college, like all that does not satisfy, and it just doesn't satisfy. God's love truly satisfies because it's consistent, it's always there, it always fills up, not doesn't always make us happy instantly, but it's a deep joy that we have. And that is better than any passive happiness, passive thing that only lasts for a moment, only lasts for like a really short moment, and ultimately leaves us feeling dry a lot of the moments when we think that make us feel good, but a lot of times it's only like super short and then it's followed by guilt. And there's a lot of pursuits in college that like I've experienced that, I've seen that, and I've seen other people like be in those modes as well. And some of those things are like alcohol, physical contact with other status followers, good grades maybe, but that's actually like a good thing to pursue. But like our identity is not meant to be in that as well. Our identity isn't that God says we're good and that He looks at us and He says that we're good, and that's our identity regardless of the output that we pursue, regardless of the output that we have. So those are the 3 tips, 3 lessons that I learned from being in college, and I hope that really blessed you. So if you're interested, or if that did, then like let me know in the comments. Like I want to know what your thoughts are. So comment below what you think of the tips. What are your what's your place like in college? Do you go to a college? Are you gonna be going to college? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Let me know if you have any questions about going to college or anything like that.